Good evening. We are Boomer Rex tonight, and I have with me Mr. Boomer Rex himself,
Yeah.
asshole,
Hi.
and I am Risen Lady Heathen. And this was the most mellow introduction I think we have absolutely ever had. Are you two sleeping? Do you need coffee?
Well, if we needed coffee, it was a while ago.
Okay. All right. So let's just dig right in.
It's sad. I didn't look over at the coffee like, oh, do we? Oh, we don't.
No, it's sad.
Mr. X, you were talking about new research that may be able to reverse paralysis.
I saw
Yeah.
that headline. What's going on?
All right. So, Northwestern University researchers have a new injectable therapy
Yeah.
that harnesses what they call dancing molecules, right?
Cute.
And it reverses paralysis and repairs tissue. So they took their little paralyzed mice and they injected them at the site of their spinal injury.
Do they let them play on little mice four-wheelers? I'm just wondering how you get the paralyzed mice. Shut up. Yeah, no.
Yeah, you
You
do
do
something
bad
bad to
things
their
to the
spine.
poor mice.
Yeah.
Just gonna pretend we let them drive around on four-wheelers.
Right, until they wrecked. And
Yeah,
then
at that farm in upstate New York, they do
Right.
a lot of stuff there.
Anyway, in 4 weeks, they could walk again.
That's fabulous.
That's
This
brilliant.
this is the first time, the first thing I've seen that you look at and go, that might work,
Yeah.
right? So anyway, what the molecules do, they regenerate the severed extensions on the axons.
Yeah.
They reduce the scar tissue, right? They the myelin, the insulating layer on the axons,
Yeah.
is efficiently reformed around the cells, and functional blood vessels are formed to feed those repairs.
That's always been the
wow.
part I've from the transplanting other heads on things.
Right.
Yeah. And more motor neurons survived, and after 12 weeks, it's gone.
All right, so now I want to see that crazy doctor that's always threatening to transplant a head to another body.
Yeah.
Give him a
This
mason
was the
jar of
problem,
stuff.
right? The
Yeah,
spinal injury.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Sew all the other stuff together. So, anyway, no.
Come on, internet, let's make some monsters.
It will be published in the November 12th issue of the journal Science.
There you go.
So,
Those are some adults.
yep.
Wow.
Anyway, really interesting.
That
Yeah.
is really interesting. And speaking of molecules, you said something to me about carbon fixing microbes.
Yeah. So, we have found a couple of species of microbes. They were harvested from the deep ocean,
Okay.
right? They were harvested like in 2003 to 2009. They've been culturing them and so forth. And they realized there are these dark spots in the microbes. The hell are the dark spots? Right? Are those metal deposits? So it turns out they're carbon. They're pure carbon.
Huh.
No reason for it to happen. It's not obvious why they do it, but there are two species of deep sea microbe that do. And these are, at least one of them is the kind that live around the vents, right?
Makes sense.
The methanophiles,
Yeah.
right, that actually like the methane. Not clear why they do this, but you look at it and go,
Do you really care why?
yeah.
And can I get a vat of
can
them
I get
bubbling
some
in
more?
the backyard?
Yeah. So anyway, just an interesting observation. So
Yeah.
anyway,
So what do they
Go little microbes.
yeah.
they take it into themselves? They absorb it?
Both of them do methane-related chemistry, right? So they have plenty of carbon there, right? Methane's just a carbon and four hydrogens. The hydrogens are easy to strip off and do things with, right? Is the carbon the waste product?
That's what I was trying to figure out is, right, what's the biological process? Because they're taking in dirt and putting out this something and carbon.
Yeah, well,
Life and carbon.
yeah.
So,
Anyway, or gas is dissolved in the local medium or
Yeah.
whatever. But anyway, we're culturing them, so we'll figure out
Yeah.
what the
Oh, we've got them in the science vat.
what
It's
the
over.
biological
Like, yeah.
pathway is. It still won't be obvious why they do it,
Okay.
right? And maybe the biological pathway, maybe they know some trick, right?
Right.
So anyway, just interesting, and
Yeah.
at a time when you're looking to sequester carbon various places, having little carbon nodules, those are heavier than water.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Interesting.
kind of interesting, absolutely interesting.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. You know what else is interesting?
Oh,
Steve Bannon was indicted by a federal grand jury today on 2 counts of contempt of Congress after he refused to talk to the January 6th Insurrection House Committee.
all right.
Sadly, Bannon will be turning himself in on Monday, so no fun, exciting perp walk for us.
Unless they
However,
decide to be cruel and invite some cameras.
yeah, I hope they do. That'll be
I hope so, too.
amazing.
No, this is one of the few times I think Steve Bannon screwed this up. He should have gone and refused to testify. Right? Like, yep, you can swear me, you can whatever, but
Well, we had another one fail to show up today. And I would
Failing to
once
show up is a
again
mistake.
recommend to the committee that they send the sergeant at arms to bring him there by force,
yeah.
right? You don't have to wait for DOJ to act on this. You have the authority to arrest. Go do it.
Right.
So, and it's Mark Meadows.
Hey,
So
it's the
it'd be
authority
really fun.
invested in you, by you. Go for it.
It's the authority invested
Yes.
in them by the Constitution.
Yeah.
Do it. Exercise it.
No, I'm agreeing.
Yes.
I'm a firm believer in
Absolutely.
if you don't use these powers, you don't actually has them.
Yeah, that is very, very true. So I heard somewhere something about there's this new Vax
Incentive?
detox bath.
We'll come back to the Vax detox bath because that one's hilarious.
That was such a
What?
good lead-in too.
We've now got, you keep talking about the incentives to get the vax, right? Okay. So we had lotteries in some states. We have this and that. And the well, now we have vaccine requirements for any industry, right, that does business with the government and has more than 100 employees. Okay. So we've got Florida, right, which is deciding to pay people not to get the vaccine, right? Another state planning to
How
pay
can
them
you
on unemployment.
This is
So,
ridiculous. Why are
of
you
course
paying
it's
people for not
ridiculous.
getting vaccinated?
This seems like a
Because
bad
you're
way to
Ron
spend
DeSantis
taxpayers'
and you're an
dollars.
idiot.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want my money going to that. Fuck you.
Absolutely. So I hope the people of Florida rebel. And I hope the federal government says, no, you can't use federal money for this stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
aggressively.
Get
That's
them on the hook
ridiculous.
first. Get them to write their law so they have to do it. Anyway, but it turns out you can have a real incentive to do vaccines, right? So Austria, right, they're worried about their reluctant citizens and so forth. And they now have requirements, right? They have vaccine passports and so on, right? But anyway, Funpalast, which is a brothel in the middle of the capital, Vienna, has opted to inject some enthusiasm and come out with a real incentive, which is if you will come to their vaccine clinic and get your vaccine, they will give you a ticket to get in for free.
Nice.
Now, it just gets you in to wander around and talk to the employees. Anyway.
That's awesome.
Hey,
Way to go, Austria.
it's $50 to get through the door, right? So that's $50 that you're up when you get inside.
absolutely.
It's $50 more to spend on the gentlemen, whatever your preference is. 90s with it, kind of me.
So anyway,
I know that's your line. I love it.
but their little vaccine station is real. They have 2 MDs, right? And then they have a place for you to sit or lie down, for your 30 minutes of waiting period to be sure you don't go anaphylactic.
Yeah.
So great. I mean, that's an actual incentive.
Yeah.
So cool.
Think of how many of these anti-vaxxers here in America we could get vaccinated with that.
Yeah, it's an idea.
Yeah.
So anyway, you'd think keeping your job would be a good incentive.
No, no, it's not, because they have every right to not get vaccinated
They
because it's their
absolutely
body
do.
and their choice.
Those numbers appear to be running sort of on average around 3%, right?
I'm cool with them
And so I'll
using that
tell you what-
argument as soon as they
That's
stop
9
trying to
million,
regulate
yeah.
my uterus.
Jack Welch used to say any organization can afford to lose 3%.
Oh God, easily.
Yeah. Well, and again, we're not gonna like
No.
The
afford to lose
ones who are going to lose their jobs, right, over not getting the vax, that looks to be about 3%, averaged over all the organizations.
Right.
And again, Jack Welch said, any organization can afford to lose 3%. And what he did was he simply fired the bottom rated 3% of the people. So,
Yeah.
right? And what that did was it swept up a bunch of people who weren't happy working there, and it sent them looking for work somewhere else where they might be happy. So, anyway, and this is self-selected, and I'm sorry, right? If you're ready to lose your job over a vaccine, fine.
Yeah.
I'd just as soon you left.
Agreed. All right,
Yeah.
so now will you tell me
Now I
about
will.
these
This is so
facts,
good.
detox
So,
facts that I led us
if
into
you were-
so nicely and you completely derailed?
If you were forced by your company to get a vaccine, and you go against your better judgment and you get a vaccine, right? It turns out that there are people who will tell you how to detox the vax.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. See, this is it's a bath, right? And you put the chemicals in, and then you soak in the bath, and it will detox the vax.
No, they left out the most important part.
What's that?
You need to bring a toaster. No, that's how you get the vaccine
The effect.
molecule to dance out of you.
Absolutely. Oh, and be sure and put plenty of
See,
salt in the water anyway.
If you bring a toaster, okay, then that will make sure that you kill the little tiny nanos, the little nanobots that are inside the vaccine.
Don't take toaster baths, the internet. Or detox baths. Like,
So anyway, this is, obviously it's complete nonsense, right? But the good news is most of the ingredients aren't harmful. Baking soda, Epsom salt.
That's
right?
normal stuff you would take a bath with, fine.
That provides a radiation detox to remove the
even
radiation. And you say,
any of
oh
the
my
words in
God.
that sentence work.
No, that's a moment where you're like,
Bath
where you're
is
like,
the only.
what the fuck did you just say to me? Like,
And then bentonite clay, right, which will add a major pull of the poison.
can't I just use clay from my backyard? That sounds cheap.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
These are the
assuming-
same people who've gotten people that care about this and do this kind of thing.
Getting
drink
to the
enough
good
soda
part.
to
What's
turn
the
blue.
other thing they tell you to put in this? This is good.
Oh,
You're gonna love
this
this.
is just insane.
Do this. Don't
But of course, this is all, you can get the things to put on your heels that will suck the poison out of your body, and it's just an extension of that nonsense. But at the end, she says to put borax in, and the problem is borax is a cleaning agent, right?
Yeah.
And it can cause skin irritation.
Don't
You really
bathe
don't
in
want it in your
borax,
eyes.
people. You don't want it in your vagina or your butthole either.
Right. And of course, nothing that you do on the outside is going to remove any of the effects of the vaccine. Right.
Hey,
It's just idiotic.
I'll take it because when they were playing around with Ebola and telling them how to make their own Ebola vaccine, and I agreed. One of the steps was they had to get an Ebola sample, and I assume that's where the system will meet them and be very surprised. But you basically just put it in a canteen and shake it up.
Yep. And then drink it?
You pour it out, and then you put water in, and then any water you drink from that, and my God. First off, yeah, you could probably give yourself Ebola that way, and Ebola's at least really...
I could see somebody halfway believing that you were,
Getting a small enough dose
yeah.
that you could trigger your immune system to...
Oh, yeah, but the instructions were extra dumb. You had to shake it a certain number of times or bang it a certain number of times. And again, I get how you think that's attenuating, like, it's weakening the virus because you're really big. So if you hit it and they're really small...
It'll
Well,
kill
it's
them.
like the
Yeah, they'll be
homeopathic
dizzy.
recipes.
Dizzy
where-
virus molecules. People, virus molecules don't get dizzy, just so you know.
Yeah, but we've always anthropomorphized viruses. All of the videos we show children just because it's easier that way.
I can't even. With
No, there are a
these
number
people.
of homeopathic recipes where when you finish with the required dilutions, they're, your 4 ounces of elixir don't contain any of the active ingredient.
Yeah.
So, on average,
But
some of them will have
either
a
way,
molecule or two.
don't try this stuff at home, kids. Like, seriously, this is not a challenge. This isn't something we're telling you to do. We're laughing because it's dumb on its face, and we don't want you to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Don't emulate this. This would be the kind of thing we'd be laughing at.
this
not with.
detox bath will it will neutralize the nanotechnology.
And
And the radiation, yeah.
Right. But you have to understand that there's a reason behind this, is that the person who's pushing this has talked about the liquefied computing system, right? That's in the...
Nanobots.
Well, you had
Why
to
can't
have...
she just call them nanobots?
She doesn't
because
read
you can
comics.
look at the vaccine and know there are no nanobots in there.
Obviously
But
not.
if it's liquid
Yeah.
and then assembles itself inside the body...
Pollutes your essential fluids.
How many times does this woman watch The Matrix while high on acid and heroin and whatever other kind of drugs she gets
It's
shoved in her
just the
face?
5G fluoride people now.
So everybody who's fact-checked her says false.
Yo.
No
then-
kidding. Why do we have to fact check these people? It seems like a
Politifact-
waste of time.
Yes.
Burger King doesn't even like when this lady shows up because she talks to them at the drive-thru.
Oh,
She can't
God.
just order the thing. She's like, don't be putting none of those liquid computers in my shit.
Yeah, you gotta know it. And of course, PolitiFact said pants on fire, which I find hilarious.
Well,
So,
I do want to discuss something that has
Oh.
been huge in the news recently. And honestly, with the research I've done tonight, I might have changed my opinion on this. Because initially, I was very
Not mine. I feel deeply about what are we talking about?
very strongly like, fuck this kid.
Ah,
Okay?
yeah.
We're
okay.
talking about Kyle Rittenhouse, who is now 18. He has 6 charges against him for what he did in Kenosha,
How
including
fucking only 6?
3 homicide-related charges. This tool showed up at a protest, and I will still call him a tool because, yeah.
18.
Yeah, well, he was 17 at the time. He's now 18.
All 17-year-olds tools.
Outside his state, he initially claimed to be going there to protect a car dealership that he's completely unconnected to. Recently in court, he has claimed he went there to offer first aid. He embarrassed himself on the stand by pretending or trying to cry unsuccessfully. His shifting stories and completely unrepentant behavior before he went to court
Yeah, that's the
disgusts
part
me.
that...
The whole court case has just been a circus. The judge not allowing Kyle's victims to be called victims is stupid, but maybe it's okay. I mean, we
There's-
discussed it a little
yeah.
bit, and
I
you
can see
kind of
the
swayed
legal
me on
argument.
that. But Kyle himself is Kyle is claiming self-defense in this case now,
You
and
gotta.
maybe kind of the more I hear about it, a lot of what he's saying and a lot of the video, it's all very circumstantial. Like, none of us know how this kid felt, but at the same time, I will say he should have never been there. End of discussion.
Yes.
And once you're there and with a gun, okay, he's 17, he had no right to have this gun. So he crossed state lines with a weapon. Don't tell me you weren't planning on using it. Because
that's
obviously
why
you
you
were.
drive across state lines with a weapon, is
Exactly.
to shoot somebody.
Exactly. And his
Or
claim
pretend that you're going.
that he was that going there to offer first aid, he had nothing on him that could have rendered first aid to anybody.
Did he have any training?
Not that I know of. I mean, I haven't been able to find much, but from what I have found, no. So it's all just circumstantial and whatever, but it's his word against dead people.
He brought a weapon and let a situation get out of control.
Right.
That's my big problem. It's
Oh,
also the
gotcha.
problem I've got for one of the wounded kids is, right, he brought a pistol.
Right.
And he advanced with that weapon.
And, yep. You pick a lane, bro. You can't.
Yeah.
And what are you doing trying to apprehend? Yeah, he just shot that guy. There's cops further down the road. Go tell them.
Okay, so
Or use your tools.
yeah. With all that said, I was thinking yesterday is there were other people there, some of whom were adults,
Right.
right? Where are the charges for them?
Well, and why
How
would
did he
the
get to the
Friend drove him.
dealership? Friend drove him? How
Appears
old's
to be the
Fred?
same friend. 18, 19.
Mhm.
Yeah, no,
So I think there's some other folks that ought to be charged. This clown gets in a situation he can't control. One guy hit him with a skateboard. All right, I'll even buy that one was self-defense. Now I grant you, he got himself into it.
Well, yeah,
Right.
because he hit him with a skateboard after. So the guy went after him after he had
He
shot somebody.
else. Agreed.
So he was like, "Oh no, this is not okay," and that's when he went after him.
I understand.
So in that instance, I feel like after you fire the first shot, it's hard to claim self-defense after that when other people are now trying to defend themselves against you.
They weren't trying to
Yeah.
defend themselves. They were attacking him.
yeah.
The way to defend themselves would have been to retreat. and
Run
they
away
didn't
from the
do it.
madman with the gun.
Yeah.
But
So, you know how I'd like to see this end? I'd like to see him convicted of voluntary manslaughter and serve 5 years.
I still think he should serve more than that.
agreed. But the average for murder in the U.S. is 7.
No, and again, I've kind of softened on this, right? Because initially I was very much fuck this kid, and now maybe not fuck him as much, but at the same time, like you killed 3 people, and you obviously don't really feel as bad about that as maybe you
Killed
should.
2 and injured 1. Didn't kill the third.
Okay, fine, but whatever.
Yeah, no, it's tragic that this shithead at 17 wasn't taken down and enlisted in pick a service because they understand those kids need extra attention.
Structure.
Well, and supervision, right? Because that's my
Well, and you were saying that he was getting involved. His mom got him involved with some groups and
that's
stuff.
the junior police and some sort of firefighter equivalent. Like she's just trying to get him around dudes so he can ask other
So it
dudes
seems like
dude
this
questions.
kid is easily influenced.
Yeah.
He's 17. They all
And
are.
He
it
wanted to
was-
be a hero. Everybody wants to be a hero at 17.
Yeah. And he got out
Right.
the militia group as opposed to an actual martial force, and yeah.
But
yes.
I still feel like you can't slap him on the wrist because
No.
he's never going to learn his lesson if he gets slapped on the wrist, and we might see him out again
Yeah.
somewhere else where
we do
he'll
not want to
actually-
move the juvenile delinquent problem into further and further into adulthood, like when they've got credit cards and can buy body armor and shit. Like, and I'm talking about the theory that we slap children on the wrist until the day they turn 18, and then we just slam the cage shut on them.
Oh yeah,
And that's a huge mistake.
agreed.
He
No,
was
that
walking around with a rifle at 17. I'm
Yeah.
perfectly happy to treat him as an adult.
Oh, yeah.
And he is being tried as an adult.
well, and the fact that he's 18 now means he was a month or 2 away from his
Yeah.
birthday at the time, so it's not that big of a
It's been a
difference.
So anyway, my prediction is voluntary manslaughter, 5 years.
Yeah.
So, which I will be fine with. We shall see.
All right, so here's another out of control situation. Have you guys heard about the Travis Scott Astro World concert?
Only limited bits.
Okay, 9 dead, hundreds injured.
I originally thought it was a shooting thing because the headline I kept seeing was played Russian roulette with his fans. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, no, wait till I get into
Yeah,
this.
wait a minute.
too.
Yeah.
Like, was he actually shooting off the stage? Like, that's crazy. But
Next step 2.
okay, no, I'm curious now.
Yeah,
Do
no.
tell.
So 9 were dead and hundreds injured. The only time I saw a number, it said somewhere around 300. Okay, this is a lot of people. And this happened in what's called a crush. Okay,
Yeah.
so when you get a huge group of people, so maybe you have 4 or 5 people per square meter, and now you're cramming them all into 8 people per square meter. That's not a lot of space.
That's where it
and
gets
that's a
way
lot of
dangerous.
fucking people.
Okay. So we might pause at this moment and give you the recognition feature. The recognition feature is that if you are in a crowd and people are bumping into you, you need to find the most direct way out of that crowd and move.
Right.
Yep. Or a bit of structure to hide behind, but yeah.
So let's get some information here, and then we can discuss, because yes, there's lots of ways you can protect yourself and stay safe from these types of situations. Anyway, so Travis is saying that he's going to refund all the tickets, and pay for the funerals of the dead and pay for the bills of the injured.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Well, this is a nice gesture.
And some more.
While this is a nice gesture, this isn't the first tragedy at one of his concerts. Not
I did
anywhere
not know
close. Travis is known for encouraging mosh pits and unsafe behaviors at his shows. May 2017, he faced 3 misdemeanor charges of inciting a riot, disorderly conduct, and was ordered to pay over $6,000 to 2 people who were injured at the show. He also served jail time for this incident. In 2015, he pled guilty to charges of reckless conduct and was, watched by the court for a year. In April of 2017, a man was thrown from a balcony by Travis's fans and is now paralyzed. He has sued Scott Travis, and Scott Travis is claiming, no, and nothing to do with me. Another fan jumped from that same balcony on this same night after Travis pointed at the guy or girl and then said, "Jump, do it, you can do it, they'll catch you."
She killed the one she landed on, right?
I wasn't able to find the
they both
details on
died?
that.
Okay.
It's so scattered right now, right?
Yeah.
Like I had to read like 10 different articles to get this information, but 3 people were hospitalized in another crush at one of his concerts in 2019, another Astroworld concert, okay? And in 2021, in Astroworld, he stopped the concert 2 times. Once when he saw that somebody was in trouble or whatever, pulled him out. Yeah. And then another time when he said he saw an ambulance. But here's the strange part. When officials declared the concert a mass casualty event, he continued for another 30 minutes to finish his set.
Yeah, I don't go to concerts, the internet. Stay home, listen to us.
Right?
Like, comment, and subscribe.
You
Share
listen
some
to
of your
all
friends.
the music you want on YouTube around listening to us.
Yeah.
But again, the density at which you need to get
Away.
terrified
7.
is about 4 per square meter. That's the point at which people are bumping into you. When you get to the
4 and
point,
5, I figure, is your average mosh pit.
Yeah.
When you get to 7, that's dangerous. When you get to 8, people will be hurt.
when you get to
aggressive.
4, you should be looking for the way out.
Yeah.
Most
Don't
people
get
aren't
much
gonna,
Because you
but yeah.
don't have any control over this.
No.
No, and one of the things you can do is pay attention. One of the things they tell you to do is don't fight the crowd. If you get pushed in a direction, go with it. If you get pushed another way, go with it. Because if you have people elbowing you and you elbow the person next to you, that gets spread in that direction, right? And eventually it's going to hit an end somewhere and it's going to come back. Now, if you have 2 opposing groups pushing in the same direction on opposite sides, eventually the people in the middle there are going to be extra fucked. So it causes like kind of like with sound waves, right?
Yeah,
or when
ripples.
you ripples on on the water, when they meet, they kind of mess it all up. So these people right in the middle of these 2 ripples, right, are extra fucked.
When people are bumping into you, you need to find the shortest way out of the crowd and move now.
Yes.
Yep.
But there are other things you can do to stay safe. Make sure you keep a couple inches in front of your chest, because sometimes you're in a situation where you can't get out. And you need to know how to protect yourself in those instances. Stay on your feet. Keep as much distance between you and the person in front of you. Lock your arms and keep that space so you can breathe. And it's gonna hurt.
The nurse who passed out and was passed up and over in the mosh pit, the one who saved several other people who would have died absent her attention, passed out because she couldn't breathe,
Once
because
you
she
exhale-
could not get enough room to breathe.
Once
Right.
you exhale, the crowd takes the space.
Right. And you're not going to get your 2 inches in front or...
No,
Right.
the best you're gonna. It's like the same instructions for getting wrapped up by snakes, right? Is use your arms to keep some space, but you're not going to against a crowd. Don't get into tight spaces with people.
Yeah.
No, and again, Travis is known
Yes.
for inciting these sorts of things. Everybody to the front, rage, hatred, you know.
Yeah.
No, it's the nonsense about they were playing the terror noise, and
Terror noise.
19 hertz. It's utter garbage.
Oh.
No, but part of this is what had been sort of gangster rap, like people already had their criminal background set.
Yeah.
This is, right, so this seems from the outside to be someone who's trying to build sort of the bad boy of music equivalents.
No, and again, like I've been to concerts run by, bands that know what they're doing, right? Have been doing this forever. And been in mosh pits and been fine. And you see the band pays attention. They'll stop things if things get too crazy, or they'll play a quieter song to calm people down, that sort of thing. Travis, on the other hand, doesn't care or understand or pay attention to these intricacies because obviously there were hundreds of people in danger, and he's like, oh, they're just partying, woo! Like, no, buddy, no, aggressively no. And when he's got his officials like, hey, got the gun, hey, what are you
On the other hand,
stop the car.
that's my thing, is there's also
Unplug
plenty...
it.
Yes. You don't actually have to have the gun, right? That microphone has to have, like, a sound system to make it do its thing.
I would be in the back being like, he's not stopping, cool. All the power goes there.
Yeah, what switches can I throw that aren't the lights?
Yeah.
Well, no, because you imagine they must have dim light and highlight. So lights on high, then off the sound system.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
But what in one of these riots, the one that he got arrested for, he told people, fuck security, climb up on the stage, come up here. And the security was like, oh no, fuck this shit. So they got everybody calm back down, and he disappears. And that's when he got arrested later, and they're like, no, can't be doing that. So this isn't a new thing. Like, he knew, and everybody who does his concerts knows that this is a problem.
No, I hadn't heard about the encouraging them to jump. Like, that's wildly crazy.
Oh.
Kids these days and their music.
And they're hippity hop.
Après moi, la dernière.
Pretty much. But no, again, somebody somewhere should have taken action is sort of my feeling on the two stories you've told.
Yeah.
No, and
Where with adults?
And this is why these stories I find so intriguing, because if you had just a handful of people, like the cop story the other night, if just 2 or 3 of those other officers, because there was less than 20 in that station. So if even just 1 or 2 of them had said anything or thought maybe I should tell somebody above the chief that there's this problem, maybe privately, I'm sure there's some law enforcement agency that could help me out with this.
Not at all.
But my point is, in all of these situations, a few people could have changed the entire outcome, and maybe people would not have died or been harassed or whatever the situation is.
It would have had to be a few critical people.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there were lots and lots of people trying to help in the crush.
Yeah.
And some of them are dead. Some of them are in the hospital.
Yeah.
And that's another thing we can point out is panic rarely the problem with groups of people.
Yeah.
Right, crowds and because it's groups. The problem with the big sets of people is they end up as smaller groups of people. And the 2 groups pushing on each other, same thing. But not panic. So good job, the monkeys.
Yeah.
They work the problem where they are.
Yep. Again, if people are bumping into you,
Leave. Yes.
get the fuck out of there, because you are past the point where you have any control,
Yes.
and you need to be gone from there. So,
Yeah.
or recognize that you may wind up dead.
Recognize
And
you
I
live
don't
in the
want to hear
United States,
complaints.
nobody has any earthly idea what the max capacity of a thing is. We always overstuff concerts.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they're SRO, right?
No idea.
Standing room only up
Yes.
front, right? And so the limit is 7, 8, 9 people per meter squared.
Yeah. No, and you're already right.
And
That means
that's
when
when you
everything's going well, it's So no.
At 7, 8, 9, people are dying.
Yeah.
Oh, aggressively. Yeah. I
And
mean,
that's not a record.
you hit 9 to 10, you ain't getting out of there.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's just not going to happen.
If people are bumping into you you no longer have control, and there's a chance that you will not get out of there.
Yeah,
Turn
no,
around and leave.
Well, but the point is that you can't always do that because
Yes, you can't.
your act of trying to get out of there could cause the rush forward because now you've left a spot that other people are going to want to take.
Go the other way.
As much as I agree with you, and yes, in a perfect world, that's exactly how this would be handled. In reality, that's not always an option. So, that's all I'm saying. But one thing you can do is get, if you notice things are going south and you cannot find a way out, wave to the security guards, get their attention. They're there to help you.
Maybe. I mean, that's what they're there for. Whether or not they have control enough to actually do stuff,
Can get to you, can reach you, can see you. Yeah.
But again, if you can try to get out, like you said, early, then that's the way you want to go.
Yeah.
So if you have to, scream, wave your hands, help over here, help, and sometimes people just pick you up and throw you to the security guards. That's good too.
Yeah.
So if it gets you out, it gets you out. Just anything you can do to try to give yourself space or to get out. Those are.
That's actually a thought. I suppose if I were really in trouble, I would try it. It's surf me into that fucking security guard.
yeah.
Oh yeah. No, and people do it. Crowd surfing's a thing.
Yeah.
They will crowd surf injured people happily. When you have a good crowd that knows mosh pits and knows what they're doing and is paying the fucking attention, you can find help if you need it.
No, we're gonna have a couple of years where concerts are a problem because we took a year off from them and everyone forgot how concerts work.
Yeah, everybody forgot
Yeah,
the niceties and
be
what you're
true.
supposed to do to help each other out.
No, and the kids who were in the mosh pits, like they've had a year off, kind of enforced on them.
Yeah, and now they want to really mosh some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're gonna get overly excited crowds for a while.
Oh, and don't do drugs at concerts, folks. That's what will get you killed.
Yeah.
Aggressive.
Among many things.
If you do drugs or if you have any sort of a heart or a health condition of any kind, and for God's sakes, don't bring your teenagers and 9-year-olds into a standing room only venue ever. A 9-year-old got severely injured at this concert.
Yeah.
One of the ones killed, the youngest one, was a 14-year-old boy. Oh, God. Just don't bring your kids to concerts. I mean, unless it's like the Wiggles or something. Like, that's fine. That there's no mosh pits there.
Seven Killed and Crush at Wiggles concert. Altamont, is that the one I'm thinking of?
No idea.
It's the other one where people got like dead or hurt or whatever. They ended up putting a body on the stage. It's my vague recollection.
Oh, great.
So, everything had already happened.
Yeah.
No, and again, as an artist, one thing you can do is learn the signs that there's problems in your crowd and pay the fuck attention.
And don't encourage crazy shit.
And don't say dumb
don't
shit.
tell them to jump on each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you notice things are getting too crazy and people seem to be struggling,
Stop the music.
play a softer song. 9 Inch Nails is well known for this. A lot of them are.
Yeah.
Traffic calming.
Yeah.
The only reason why I mention 9 Inch Nails is because I actually have been to a 9 Inch Nails concert and I know how they handle things. So
Yeah. And I the fact that this was a full production event as opposed to like the hardcore garbage I've been taken to listen to, where it's in like somebody's sub basement. And yeah, those are crowd densities that are unsafe, but we're in the VFW Hall's basement. And I don't even want to be here, and their whole thing is just punching each other. It's like fucking anywhere else these would have been skater kids.
I was at a
White boys
Power
with a vendetta against their own bones.
I was at a Power Man 5000 concert once at a strip club, and it was amazing, and I loved every second of it. And I was like behind the person in front of me, and things were getting a little rough. And I was in the second row, so there was one person in front of me, and she was like this little girl. So I had my arms around her on the stage, so that when I got pushed, I would
You didn't
keep
squish her.
from
Yeah.
getting squished.
No, it's always the cute little concert elves.
It is.
Yeah, she was
They
fun.
always want to be right up front. We're gonna die.
No, those are the ones that get truly squished and
Yeah.
they faint.
And that's
And once they hit the ground, no power
Kind of
on
sort
earth
of
can
like
break them.
if you go to one of these things, like be prepared to be friends with those people around you. You got to protect each other because if you don't, you're all gonna die, and it's gonna be bad.
worst Wiggles concert ever.
Yeah. No, I knew I used to have friends that would
Is
go
Wiggles a thing?
Yeah.
in groups of like 10 to 20 all together, and they would stay together in the mosh pit so that if things were getting whatever, they could protect each other, and then if they needed to, they could get people out on their own because there was enough of them that they could control
Flying wedge.
their area. Yeah. But no, and again, like just be safe, people, and preferably don't go to a Travis Scott concert ever. Just don't. It sounds like
They
a
sound
death
crazy,
trap.
yeah.
An absolute death trap.
No, and there's loads of noise, right, from the usual suspects of like, oh, well, they had to go through a mouth, and it's a whole thing.
Oh god.
That's the part I actually heard about.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
the crazy people who are like, oh, you just saw a satanic whatever. and
Satanic Panic is back again. Oh yeah.
It's never gone far.
No, but it's funny because it's like with the Halloween episodes we
yeah.
did, they were talking about Satanic Panic and concerns about Satanists and Halloween and
Every
blah,
Satanist I
blah.
know is entirely too lazy to do any of these
Oh
things.
god, yeah, no, they're not doing any of this. It's fine.
You do know that there was a rumor that this was caused by a mind control experiment.
Yes.
The Travis Scott concert
perfect sense.
caused by a mind control experiment.
Yes.
Was it the liquid computers again? Those
I
bastards.
must have been.
You monsters, we'll stop you.
It was the Jewish space lasers, wasn't it?
Must have been.
It must have been.
Yeah, no,
We're just kidding, we love
That's
you
what they're
Jewish
for.
people.
They're for mind control, you know.
Yeah, and forest fires. It's like they watched, what is it, Young Geniuses? Something. One of them where they got a death ray from space. And like, that's not it. God damn it.
Space lasers.
I mean, this and people screwing up, killing a prime minister with fucking drones. You had the goddamn drones.
How do you mess that up? I can't even get over that. You had 3 drones and not one of them could do their
I'm
job.
gonna make a
right.
video game where we can
I'm-
put the Call of Duty kids on it. They'll get it done.
Oh god, yeah.
I'm visualizing these were piloted drones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Again, get the COD
Yeah, unless
kids.
you're
They'll be
telling me-
on it.
Unless you're telling me, like, I could believe you screwed it up if it was a pre-programmed drone. Sure, that makes sense, because usually they leave the window open or something. Just clunk, thud.
Don't leave
How are you the
windows
guy
open
that
if
can't
you're
murder
trying not to
straight?
get murdered. Preferably stay in a basement.
Ah, damn it.
Oh,
Stupid.
Jesus. All right, so this has been fun. I mean, not fun. We talked about a lot of death again tonight, but
Yeah, you guys know
That was your decision.
That's true.
well, so
He was
so,
telling people how to detox their
didn't-
radiations.
No,
Yeah.
so my thought
And
process
about
was
incentives
so my
from a
thought
brothel, which, wow.
So we talk about news and politics on the show nearly daily.
Yeah.
And one of the things that has been in the news a lot has been both of these things have been in the news a lot, and we haven't really spoken about them too much.
Yeah, true.
We've touched on Kyle Rittenhouse a little bit, but we have not mentioned the Travis Scott thing at all.
No.
So, and this is I wanted to wait because I was like, I need more information.
Yeah.
And now, like I said, there's like a million articles out there. I read through at least 10 and scrolled through at least 10 others just to collect all this
Wonderful.
past bullshit that this idiot did that caused this. And
Oh.
yeah, so you're welcome for saving you time from having to do all that research yourself.
Do better, internet. Make better news.
Remember, if you want me to try to pronounce your name or your friend's name, don't make me fucking enunciate, you motherfucker. Anyway, if you want me to try to pronounce you or your friend, I'm gonna fucking kick you.
Was that
if
one
you
of the
keep
7
looking.
words?
I don't know.
Fucking beat you like a redheaded stepchild on Christmas. Jesus fuck. Don't beat redheaded stepchildren ever, especially on Christmas. That's not nice.
By the way, we promised them a link with last night's.
So the link so I put the links in the description last night for
Okay.
the 33 star what was it? Sunfish. So I put that in the description and I put the link to the
Salon article.
yes. So I put those both in there.
Okay.
Was there another link you wanted me to add?
No. I thought we were going to put it in a comment, and I noticed we didn't have a comment.
Oh, I took the next step and I added it to our description.
All right.
We're all high speed.
Yeah, well, I figured we're stepping up our game a little, right?
Right.
So we're doing like what other people do, which is put it in the fucking description where they get this information
Okay.
from. So, anyway, but I'm also pretty good about the names and whatever's of the people who wrote the articles and where I found the articles. So
Yep.
I try to let you guys know where I'm finding the information so you can
At least enough you can get a Google string together. We believe in you, the internet.
Exactly.
That's why you should believe in us.
But yeah, no. So we're here to help you with all your research needs. If you want to comment, if there's something that's going on that maybe we haven't covered or that maybe you're interested in, or something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue, I don't give a fuck. Whatever you got, post it, comment, and I will look it up for you.
All right.
All
Make more
right.
and better news.
Love you all. It has been another wonderful ride, and we will see you tomorrow night once again on Boomer Rex Tonight.
That didn't seem like too much of a dumpster fire.